What is up, guys? It's Puppy here, bringing you a Battlefield 3 commentary gameplay type thingy where I am going to talk about the ever-popular and never-ending war of PC gaming versus console gaming. Now, I'm sure you already got your pitchforks out. You're already ready to bash on me if I disagree with your opinion, but I please ask that you put the pitchforks away, you take your fanboy pants off, and you just listen to me with an open mind here for a little bit, okay? And yes, this is one hell of an epic black screen during loading there. I don't know what happened. And before we jump into the gameplay, one other thing. Look at this opening spawn. DICE, please fix your game. Yeah, like they'll ever do that. Alright, so, which is better? We're going to go ahead and answer this right away. We'll nip it in the bud. Which is better, PC or console? Well, to be quite honest, neither is better in the sense of black and white. You know, the typical, when people say, oh, well, this is better than that's typically said with the mind of, you know, well, a race car is faster than a bicycle. A race car is better than a bicycle. However, that is not really the case in regards to PC gaming versus console gaming. And we are sticking exclusively with gaming here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this by saying that one could honestly not coexist at the level that it does today without the other. Where did it all begin? Well, obviously, all of gaming began on PC, or a computer in any case, which is essentially all that consoles are, but that's breaking it down a bit far. Yes, PCs were first, and then somebody came along and said, you know what, all these PCs that are out there have such varied standards, they can be somewhat expensive. What if we pre-built one in a smaller package that made it more affordable for the end user? What if we did that? How would that sell? And thus, you know, the birth of the Atari and the Nintendo SNES, the Genesis, you know, and it's been going on for a very long time now, and this is nothing new. This has been around for ages, guys, ages. But what you really got to consider, though, is that without PCs, consoles would fall off the face of the earth because they rely on PCs and the innovations that are happening to PC hardware for their next generation, as we are seeing now with the announcement of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. You know, we're starting to see that they are indeed upgrading and they are becoming level again, once again, with PCs. Now, that's not to say they will stay there for forever. Because PCs will, you know, continue their evolution in a much quicker curve as that is more capable. Simply put, because consoles can't do that. They're not made to do that. If they were able to do that, then they would be just as expensive as PCs are. Now, part of why I say that they're neither is better than the other is because if you guys really sit there and think about it, at any given point in time, sure, PC gaming may look prettier than gaming on a console. In fact, most of the time, even you console fanboys, have to admit that gaming on a console is inferior visually to gaming on a PC. This is just a fact of life because of how the video card industry pushes themselves to constantly outdo each other, and with consoles, that's not the case. However, to sit there and try and say, well, that is the sole reason why PC gaming is superior is just ludicrous. Because of the price. You guys have to admit that the price is a huge factor. Video gaming as a whole would not be nearly as popular as it is nowadays if it was as expensive as it is on PC. Simply put, gaming is popular because they are able to reach a broader audience on console because it's cheaper. That's the way it goes. You know, the new Xbox is coming out, the new PlayStation is coming out. You know, $500 for the console, and then you got to figure for the Xbox anyway, you're probably going to have an additional, what is it, $40 for the yearly subscription. You know, obviously Sony doesn't have to, you don't have to commit to that for the PlayStation 4, although I do believe they have some sort of premium thing where you can get extra stuff if you pay their monthly fee or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a Sony guy at this particular point in time, although once E3 rolls around, we'll see if I make a move to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. It will be one or the other, but not both. But as of right now, I'm undecided. It will not be a PC, though, because, all right, we're talking $500 to $540 already. And if I want to build a gaming PC, if I want to build a low-end, a very low-end gaming budget PC, it'll run me roughly $800 to run games on decent settings. Now, that said, though, it's going to cost me that $800, and I'm only going to be able to play those games for maybe a year. Or, you know, and then once new games come out, my hardware's already going to be outdated. It's not going to be worth it. I'm going to have to start running games on the lowest graphic settings, and then, you know, my experience will be inferior to that of a console. And this is where consoles really start to shine, is because they have staying power. They are cheap and they have staying power when it comes to how long they last. Just look at how long the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 last. They've been around for years now, and they're still coming out with games that, you know, while graphically inferior to PC, and the networking to some degree is obviously inferior. Ultimately, though, the games are still just as fun, and just as many people are playing them, you know. Obviously, here we are, all playing Battlefield 3. A lot of you guys have probably already stopped playing it at this point because it is a little bit old, it is a little bit stale. I still play it on occasion, but, you know, I like to pull out my older games, too. Hell, you know, I just recently started playing Skyrim again, so that's, I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked here off of topic. You know, so to get back on topic, you know, you have your price points. Basically what it comes down to is one of the pros for owning a console and doing console gaming over PC gaming is I can spend $500 to $540 and ensure that I will be able to play the most up-to-date video games for, what is it, probably about 5 years or so. If I play on a PC and I build a PC, I am not guaranteed that at all. In fact, if anything, I am guaranteed maybe a year at most, depending on how the technology goes. But likely that will not be the case. It's a sad but true tale. That's not to say that some PCs, you know, haven't been built and been around for forever, but you guys got to admit that, you know, part of why the whole experience on PC is better is because of the graphics and, you know, the superior processing power. Again, something to consider there, though, speaking on the processing power, is it really better? I understand you guys have more processing power over on the PC. I do understand this. However, I also understand that most AAA titles are created specifically for console and then ported over to the PC, which means that they use the amount of hardware and the amount of processing power that the consoles are capable of, and they do not really stretch it much further than that. Maybe graphically they do, but processing power wise they tend to be about the same. This is part of why I find it funny that you have people ragging on these new consoles having 8 gigabytes RAM when I'd really like for you to point out a video game that uses more than 8 gigabytes of RAM. So yeah, basically my point is that they're the same, guys, and you really, all it comes down to is what kind of experience are you going for personally. There are several other points out there that one can make for either PC gaming or console gaming that I left open for you guys to mention in the comment section below, so go ahead and do that. And for now, this is Puppy signing out. Peace.